namaha, ekatantaya vidmahe, vakratundaya dhimahi, tano dantihi prachodayat. Jima. Thank you, everybody, for joining. So we are on week 28, verse 28 of the Kali Sahasranama. My name is Christie Smirl. Many of you know me as Kalavati Devi. And tonight we're going to be covering names 202 to 212 out of the 1,000 names and forms from the Kali Sahasranama. So let's take a look at what the verse sounds like this evening. Aparṇā niścalā lolā sarvavidyā tapasvinī gaṁgā Kashi śacī sītā satyaparāyaṇā. So you can always find the names typed in the description of the video. And tonight, like I said, we'll be going over names 202 to 212 of the Holy Mother, Kali Maa. Jema Jayadama, Jema Josette, Jema Kaku, Kari. Good to see you all. So let's look at the first name, Aparṇā. Aparṇā means she who is without parts. When we look at the name Aparṇā a little bit closer, it also means to be leafless, or one who does not even consume leaves. So there's a story about Parvati Maa, and it tells about her doing these intense austerities to win over Shiva. She was fasting, and even when the leaves fell from the trees all around her, she did not even eat the leaves. Therefore, they also call her Aparṇā. Aparṇā also signifies being free of debt. And Aparṇā Maa frees her devotees and removes debts. So Aparṇā Maa. Name 223, niścalā. Niścalā. This means she who cannot be divided. Nish, or N-I-S, means without. And chala is movement. So niścalā also means steady, unmoving, unwavering, immovable, unshakable, unwavering. It refers to a type of inner stillness, a form of tranquility, and even yogic samadhi. So niścalā. Niścalā also means earth. And if you think about earth, it's very solid. It moves, but it's considered very steady. So niścalā is she who cannot be divided, and she who is motionless. All right, name 204, Lola. Lola is she who has a protruding tongue. So if you've seen the classic iconography of Kali Maa, the Holy Mother, you have definitely seen her tongue protruding. Chema, Chris. So Lola in and of itself means wavering. So we had niścalā, steady, unwavering. Lola is wavering, or tremulous, or flickering, restless, or unsteady, or moving to and fro. So Lola is also a term for longing, greed, lust, or intense desire. Many times the word Lola is referred to specifically a woman who has rolling eyes and a lolling tongue. And a lot of people ask, why does Kali Maa's tongue lull out so often? Why is that part of her classic iconography? And there's multiple stories. So one version, which is told in several different ways, is that Kali Maa was in this fierce fierce battle, and in her intense rage, she went into a mode of destruction, because we know she's also the mother of destruction. And the only way to stop her is Shiva laid down underneath her, and then she stepped onto his chest. And some of the stories say that, that her tongue lolled out because she was embarrassed. But really, when we understand the deeper story of Kali's tongue protruding out, we know about Rakta Bija. And I've talked about Rakta Bija in one of the other weeks that we've covered Kali Maa studies. Rakta Bija is an asura, a demon. And Rakta means blood, and Bija means seed. So seed blood, or blood seed demon. Now, when Kali Maa was out on the battlefield, it became immediately apparent that every time Rakta Bija got cut or his head was severed, every drop of blood from him fell to the ground and became millions of more cloned Rakta Bijas. So knowing that the only solution was to stop all the blood from touching the ground, Kali Maa protrudes her tongue out, and it moves at the speed of light all over the battlefield to catch all of the blood falling from Rakta Bija, so that he could be ultimately destroyed. So when we see this end of the battle, and we know that Kali Maa was enraged or feverful, fervent to destroy these asuras, when she reaches this heightened state of Shakti, the only way to complement, to curb, to restore balance and harmony is pure consciousness, Shiva himself. So that's why you see him laying underneath her in Shavasana, in surrender pose, and her tongue is lolling out because she has just defeated Rakta Bija. So I've shown you this picture several times. We have Kali Maa here. Shiva's laying in Shavasana under her feet to balance out this dance of destruction. And she has her tongue out to catch all the dropping bloodlets from Rakta Bija's head. So we also hear that her tongue is a sword, but that's another story. When we know that her tongue consumes all faulty blood, all infected, contaminated life force blood, we also understand that offering our life helps us eradicate faulty ego, ignorance, and worldly desires. And ultimately, her tongue will consume all of creation again. So name 204, Lola. All right, name 205, sarvavidyā. Sarvavidyā, she who is all knowledge. And sarvavidyā means knowledge or universal science. Sarva means all, every, or whole, and vidya is a science, a discipline. So sarvavidyā, she who is all knowledge. Name 206, tapasvinī. Tapasvinī. We know that tapas is austerity, discipline, virtuousness, or self-control, to gain self-mastery, and to have a strong character. Tapasvinī is a female practitioner who does intense spiritual sadhana for self-mastery and control. So tapasvinī, as the Holy Mother, is she who is the performer of purifying austerities. All right, name 207, gaṁgā. Gaṁgā with an M. But this name means she who is the gaṁgā with an N. The gaṁgā, Ganga river, is the flowing waters that go through India. If you go to Haridwar, you can see the Gaṁgā River. If you go to Rishikesh, you can see the Gaṁgā River, and it goes through many regions of India. And gaṁgā Maa is Kali Maa, who nourishes through her flowing waters. And when we look at gaṁgā Maa, we also ask, how is Kali Maa inside as the holy healing waters? Through the blood, through the plasma, through the lubrication of the muscular system, the fat system, the nervous system, etc. And name 207, gaṁgā, she who is the holy river. All right, name 208, Kashi, Kashi. This in the puja book says, she who is Benares. So Kashi means brilliant or the luminous one. And Kashi is also a holy city known as Varanasi in India. And this is where the Gaṁgā River Ghats are, where people go to seek moksha. All right. Name who's ever been to the Varanasi Ghats. Maybe someday I'll get there. All right, name 209, Satī or Sacī. This is she who is the wife of Indra. Satī embodies the Holy Mother in the form of strength, eloquence, and divine grace. And Satī is considered the goddess of poetry, the goddess of marriage, beauty, and power. She's often seen holding a blue lotus in particular, and then the classic gold trishula, and she's also holding the vajra, which looks like a handheld device or sometimes a lightning bolt, because that's associated with Indra, right? And Satī is known as Indrani. We've talked about Indrani a little bit previously as one of the matrikas. And she is the daughter of the Asura king, Puloman. And she is considered the queen of gods who fights right alongside Indra. So it's not just Indra that's going out and keeping order and justice, but also Satī fights alongside him. So name 209, Satī. Let's look at 210, Sita. So we had Kashi, Satī, Sita. We talked briefly about Sita in the last segment. So we're going to get a little deeper into that name. We're also discussing Sita in our Srimad Bhagavatam reading group. So Sita is the wife of Rama. And Sita as a word means furrow or stemming from a plowed line in the earth. And it symbolizes fertility and agriculture. Now, Sita embodies purity, virtue, resilience, and many say the ideal womanhood. Well, an entire cosmic war was ignited when goddess Sita got kidnapped by the demon named Ravana. He imprisoned her in Lanka Island, where one of her greatest devotees, Hanuman, finally spied and found her so that she could be rescued. And Hanuman brought her Rama's ring as a token of hope. So there's a long story behind that. As Sita. Now name 211, Sati. Sati. It's Sati who we've been reading about in the Srimad Bhagavatam in Canto 4, Chapter 4. So let's look at Sati now, name 211. The name itself means, in the puja book, it says, she who is the wife of Shiva. But Sati means truthful, virtuous, and chaste woman. Sat means truth, reality, or fact. And Sati is the king of, is the daughter of King Daksha. And it was her father that we talked about in our last class about how when Sati decided to marry Shiva, her father was horrified. And her father, Daksha, had planned this beautiful yajna and invited everybody. It was going to be very, very opulent, right? And Daksha, Sati's father, invited everybody in the kingdom. So everybody was going there. And Sati found out that not only was she not invited, but her husband, Shiva, was not invited. So Shiva said, don't go, don't go. It's going to be painful to your heart. But Sati, having the desire to want to go to this opulent yajna, to see her father, to see her family, to join in the festivities, she ended up going. And unfortunately, she was greatly ignored when she arrived by her father. And then her father started speaking horribly and disrespectfully to Shiva. So in her grief over this, she decided to eradicate herself of her physical body that was partly from her father, who was so grossly disrespecting her husband. So she sat. She focused all of her yogic powers inward. She visualized the fire at the Manipura chakra and rose it up and up and up through her mystical powers into her third eye and emoliated herself. So she caught on fire and she destroyed her entire physical being. Now, there's more of a story behind that. But when we look at Sati, she's a greatly devoted wife to Shiva, to such a degree that she was willing to give up the body that was partly given to her by her father in order to free herself of her father's hatred for pure consciousness, her husband, Shiva. Now, when I was looking at the name Sati, I was also reminded that Sati is the name of a sacrifice that's now abolished. And that sacrifice is where a widow burns alive upon the pyre of her deceased husband, either voluntarily or involuntarily. But obviously, that's abolished now. All right, last name for the night, satyaparāyaṇā. She who always moves in truth. So satyaparāyaṇā means devotion or virtue. Satya means truth, and parayana means devoted to or intent upon. So we can see how these names tie in with Sati, who is so devoted to her husband Shiva, Sita, who's very devoted to Rama, and Sacī, who is devoted to Indra, Kashi, she who is the luminous one, gaṁgā, the Ganga river flowing as the Holy Mother herself, tapasvinī, she who is the performer of purifying austerities, sarvavidyā, she who is all knowledge, Lola, she who has her tongue protruding out, niścalā, she who cannot be divided, and Aparṇā, she who is without parts. So this is a wonderful chapter, actually just one verse of the Kali Sahasranama that gives us more insight into the Holy Mother's names and forms and her stories, her powers, and different ways we can look at our lives as well. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'll be here every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Pacific Coast time. If you're not already subscribed, subscribe to this channel. That way you can catch all of these We are, like I said, only on name 212, and we'll be going all the way to 1008 as part of this devotional project. So until I see you next time, Jai Maa, Jai Maa, Jai Maa.